That was the bold banner unfurled by Wolverhampton Wanderers as they hosted Liverpool in match week 29 of the Premier League. I mean, since when does a team sitting dead last at the bottom of the table show that kind of audacity against the defending champions? It really just goes to show how much the Reds are losing their fear factor. Whether that banner actually got inside their heads, who knows? But looking out on the pitch, one thing was painfully obvious: the ball was being moved around incredibly sluggishly, dragged back and forth by the heavy legs of the players in red. There was a sequence where 55 seconds ticked by. Just a string of lifeless passes ending with a desperate long ball from Ibrahima Konate. The ball sailed completely out of Hugo Ekitike's reach. The Reds are practically tying their own hands, trapped in a suffocatingly sluggish rhythm. That sequence perfectly captures Liverpool's lethargy in their 2-1 defeat to Wolves. Sitting at the bottom of the table with barely any hope of survival, the Wolves still knew how to bite. Andre's deciding goal in the 94th minute felt like a dagger straight to the heart of the Kop. Walking into the post-match press conference, Captain Virgil van Dijk couldn't hide his frustration. Exhaustion was written all over his face. The Dutch centre-back bluntly exposed the visitors' weaknesses. We moved the ball too slowly and were easily read. Our decision-making was entirely wrong. This alarming reality was echoed by journalists Andy Jones and Mark Carey in The Athletic. The Reds are losing their most lethal weapon, pace and intensity. Since the start of the campaign, Liverpool have only found the back of the net 3 times in the opening 20 minutes of a match. Looking at the bigger picture over 29 match weeks, their first half goal tally sits at just 17 goals across 11 games. This season, the Merseyside outfit is consistently stepping onto the pitch with heavy legs. Sure, there have been a few bright spots, like their quick victory over West Ham United last weekend, going up 1-0 after just 5 minutes. But those are rare flashes. 3 days later at Molineux, the bad habits returned. They dominated possession in the first half and for most of the second. But that dominance was entirely meaningless. Every attempt to penetrate the penalty box was broken down. The halftime stats showed just 4 shots, 3 on target, and an expected goals of just 0.26. It's a complete deadlock. The tactical metamorphosis under Arne Slot is coming at a heavy price. When the Dutch manager arrived at Anfield in the summer of 2024, he brought an ambition to control the game's heartbeat, stepping away from the heavy metal chaos of the Jurgen Klopp era. Last season, Liverpool found the perfect balance between dictating play and lightning-fast transitions, which helped them get their hands on the Premier League throne. But summer transfer window shake-ups stripped away their high-speed engines, forcing Slot to double down on building from the back. The result? Their threat on the counter-attack has been severely blunted. We can see this in the number of possession changes throughout the 90 minutes. Frequent possession changes usually indicate a faster, more chaotic, and exciting game. This season, the ball changes hands involving Liverpool an average of just 82 times per match. That's an 8-year low, and a sharp drop since Slot took charge. While this style helped Manchester City dominate, and even saw Liverpool win the title last season with a similar rate of 84.3. Right now, it's turning them into a heavy, predictable machine. Even more alarming, the rate of high-speed ball progression has dropped to just 15%. Everything on the pitch unfolds at a slow, monotonous pace that leaves neutral fans feeling suffocated and sometimes just plain sleepy. Many argue this tempo shift was a necessary medicine to patch up a team in crisis. Earlier in the season, they hit rock bottom with 9 defeats in 12 outings. Forcing the players into a rigid, compact defensive block brought immediate results, sparking a 13-game unbeaten run. But that defensive stability came at the cost of attacking firepower. The relentless waves of pressure and the blistering runs down the flanks seem to have vanished. Those rapid transitions, demanding tearing speed, were the hallmark of Mohamed Salah and Sadio Mané in their prime. Now, Salah is aging and can no longer maintain that explosive burst. On the opposite flank, Cody Gakpo brings a completely different skill set, more about physical strength and hold-up play than pure speed. That void is only partially filled by the arrival of Hugo Ekitike. The new signing brings impressive short-burst acceleration and ball-carrying ability. His goal against Newcastle in January and his assist in the reverse fixture against Wolves are clear proof. The spearhead of criticism has constantly pointed at Salah and Gakpo throughout this campaign. At Molineux, the pressure on this duo only grew heavier, even though Salah finally found the net, ending a domestic goal drought that stretched all the way back to November 1st. Their overall impact on the game was incredibly faded. Gakpo's clumsiness even robbed his own teammate of a sure goal. Curtis Jones unleashed a solid strike, only for the ball to deflect off Gakpo, completely changing its trajectory away from the back of the net. Stepping into the press room, when asked about his captain's harsh assessment, manager Arne Slot explained, "I understand why Virgil used words like slow or predictable. To up the tempo, you have to win your one-on-one battles on the flanks. Today, we failed to do that. Wolves played stubborn football, shutting down every gap. Still, in the first half, we should have switched the play from side to side much faster. Just by zipping the ball around quicker, the wingers would get the time and space they need to take on the opposition's fullbacks in a foot race. This deadlock doesn't just stem from individual drop-offs. Facing deep, low-block defenses, combined with sluggish ball circulation, means Salah and Gakpo are constantly swarmed by 2 or 3 yellow shirts the moment they receive the ball. With the space suffocated, the men in red completely lack those sharp, cutting combinations, the quick triangle passing needed to stretch the opposition's shape. Beating a man off the dribble is one thing, but the accuracy and sharpness of forward passes are the real keys to breaking the deadlock. Ball progression needs to be light years faster than what they're currently showing. The absence of Florian Wirtz only deepens the crisis. Since arriving from Bayer Leverkusen in the summer, the German midfielder has quickly established himself as the guy who dismantles opposing defensive structures. However, a back injury picked up during the warm-up against Nottingham Forest forced him to the sidelines. Let's put the numbers on the table to see the stark difference. In their trip to Sunderland with Wirtz on the pitch, the Merseyside outfit generated an XG of 1.22. Without their creative mastermind, that XG plummeted to a miserable 0.07 against Forest and 0.26 against Wolves. Peeling back the layers of these stats reveals another brutal reality. Excluding penalties, over the past 29 match weeks, the Reds have only hit a first-half XG above 1.0 exactly 7 times. At this same point last season, they did it 11 times. The number of games where they finished the first half with an XG under 0.5 has spiked to 12. That's a significant jump from last season's 8. The ability to apply suffocating pressure on the opponent's goal right from the opening whistle has practically vanished. And it's not just bad when they have the ball. Under Slot, their high-pressing block has lost its ferocity. The departure of Luis Diaz left a massive, hard-to-fill void in terms of pressing energy. Dominic Szoboszlai, who has constantly been forced to patch up different positions due to the injury crisis sweeping the squad, is tasked with leading the press. But the current wingers lack the necessary aggression to trap the opposition. Behind them, the duo of Alexis Mac Allister and Ryan Gravenberch isn't providing a solid enough shield, allowing opponents to easily play through and escape their weak pressing traps. The red half of Merseyside's recent point gathering has heavily relied on dead ball situations. If Gakpo hadn't accidentally blocked Jones' shot, they might have bagged another goal from exactly that kind of setup. But this reliance on set pieces only exposes their utter inability to create from open play. The defeat at Molineux just rubs salt in an open wound. The 94th minute goal marks the 5th time this season they've collapsed to a fatal blow after the 90th minute. A tragic record, the absolute worst in Premier League history for a single team in one season. Those fateful daggers previously came against Manchester City, Bournemouth, Chelsea, and Crystal Palace. It doesn't stop there. They also threw away late victories against Fulham and Leeds United, tossing a total of 9 precious points down the drain. Fans have every right to blame bad luck or controversial refereeing decisions. But when a script repeats itself this many times, it's no longer just bad luck. Constantly crumbling when the gas tank is empty, when tired legs no longer obey the brain, exposes a severe fragility. A deadly pocket of space opened up right at the edge of the 18-yard box, giving Andre the room to swing his leg and create the upset. That is pure, unadulterated lack of focus in the most crucial moment. Time is running out. The Merseyside club splashed £450 million in the summer transfer window to upgrade this squad. They should have easily crushed an opponent struggling at the very bottom of the table, a team that had only tasted victory twice all season. If Arne Slot can't wake up his players' fighting spirit soon, if he can't establish a more relentless attacking tempo and break the open play deadlock, the catastrophic scenario of missing out on the top four could absolutely become reality. Manchester United, Aston Villa, and Chelsea are all breathing down their necks, fiercely fighting for those third and fourth spots. The clock is ticking, and those red shirts need to shift into a higher gear, starting immediately next match week.